Hi guys, so this is part 14 of What If Kamen writer Genm was in RWBY. So let's start. Chapter 14, Our Improvement. Well, I guess it turned out alright for, what? A week, if I recall correctly. Don't remember much after Cardan was cured of the game disease since everything went back to normal, somehow anyway. Speaking of the big old bully. He hasn't told me to meet him and talk about our similar problems back then when I faced off against the level 1 motorbike union. He hasn't bullied anyone lately including Faunuses after that, so I'll worry about it later. What sucks is that I needed to do the missing work for each class I was absent for. Which was hell to finish every homework cause all of them had different equations, life stories, and etc. But I can't complain much now since I'm scot-free from any charges at all, and the meeting we took that I'm pretty sure wasn't easy to gather. More so thanks to Kuroto, who still needs to explain to me what was it that he was able to convince the council and Ironwood himself to accept my enrollment here. That's right. I didn't get the chance to ask him about it since I was too busy over the school. Good, I sound like a nerd again. Jesus, this takes me back when I was a lazy piece of shit who always skipped classes when the opportunity arises. Well, it's whatever. Placing every paper to their respective folders from the classes I missed, Taurus was waking up and gently tugged my shirt. MMMGGGH. Ha! I glanced back to see Taurus oinking sadly, among the other Grims I tamed before who are moping around. What's wrong, you guys? I asked in worry. Something happened? They're worried about you, Ace. Poppy opened the door slowly with Arrow on her right shoulder. You never got to talk to them for a while. Arrow and the others here really wanted to go outside when you came back. I sighed. Look, you guys. I can't bring any of you in Vale, it would bring fear to everyone besides Team RWBY and JNPR. Mind you that most of the crowd haven't seen anyone but Spectre. So you're bound to get caught with huntsmen and huntresses on you. Arrow and everyone else started to wail violently. I just can't dash. I was interrupted when Arrow started to screech louder, covering my ears. And no. What? I watched Arrow fixing his throat like there's a faint voice almost clear to hear. Arrow, did you just say and dash? I said, no, Arrow said. I exchanged glances with Poppy, who was also shocked. You don't pay attention to us, Arrow said. Only, in battle, empty promises. He sat on Taurus's head. Enough with lies. I can't believe Arrow actually talked. What he said just now. He's right. I never got the chance to bring them outside of Vale, all I did was summon them out to fight alongside me back in the Forever Fall. Then I just never really got to take them in my adventures. They'd been in the background all crying for me, to see the outside world. I brought those promises yet I didn't fulfill each one. Fuck. I really am a horrible Grim tamer, I bonded with everyone but my Grims. They were used to battle in my struggles those moments. Damn it. I remember they fought the two teams that were opening up to them. I ruined it because of my damn mentality breaking down. Why did I forget something important? How could I in the first place? Sigh. Sigh. Hearing Poppy calling my name, I saw Arrow staring at me seriously. You're right, Arrow, you're fucking right, I agreed. That made Poppy cup her cheeks. I haven't done anything fun with you or the others, I left you guys for so long. Ace. Poppy frowned. So how about this? I'll ask Kuroto to see if he can do anything to disguise you four. And when that chance is brought to life, then we can go and have fun. I said with a smile, petting Arrow's head to ease their worry. It's a promise, I said in determination. A promise I will be damned to achieve. The four Grims were taken aback by my word. Arrow cawed happily, taking the time to go back on his tiny nest. Nero went underneath my bed, Spectre nodding in approval, and Taurus sleeping on the floor. Ace, you think that'll happen? Poppy whispered. I nodded. Please. This is Kuroto we're talking about. He'll find a way if anything. He's always determined on a goal. Because Shindan Kuroto will do everything he can to make it happen. Poppy sighed. If he was here he'd gladly take those compliments, his god complex is probably at maximum now. I stopped. Wait, since when has it been growing? I took the time to remember a few warm moments when he protected us too, that and he helped me fight off Ironwood soldiers. That's actually true, he's been accepting his faults instead of denying it. That must mean he's growing up. Poppy celebrated. Oh, it's thanks to you, Ace. I dismissively waved it off. Nah, I'm pretty sure he was going to become a nice guy in the show after what happened. I trailed off. Right, Kamen Rider X8 was a show in your world. Poppy recalled. I didn't believe it at first. It's okay, I don't blame you. It doesn't sound true to you and the gang after what everyone went through, I said. Now, do you remember what happened when? I kept snapping my fingers, finally remembering that one scene. What happened once Masamune Dan rebooted the world? Poppy stopped, paling from the sudden flashback of the event. That's hard to explain. You don't have to tell me, Poppy, I can just ask Kuroto instead, I said, worried if I messed up. I didn't want to bring the bad memories, I just needed to know in case if what I expected was changed dramatically. MMH. Poppy could only nod, going to her side of the room. What's got Poppy so gloom about? Why did she get so stressed when I mentioned it? Did everyone die? God, I fucking hope not. Knock knock. Who is it? I asked. It's me. That voice. The stuttering. The accent. The velvet. I turned to the female bugster with a serious look. Poppy, I'll be away for a bit, okay? I said. She only replied with a thumbs up. Quickly splashing water on my face to wake up and pay attention to what could be a complicated talk with Velvet, I softly opened the front door. Oh, hey Velvet. Ace waved. Before him is the rabbit faunus he recognized just by her voice's accent and look. She didn't sustain any traumatic injuries, scars, or broken limbs. He mentally sighed in relief at that, but he can tell that she's fidgeting. Hey, Ace. Velvet said. I heard you came back. He closed the door behind and nodded. Yep, 2 weeks ago. The hallway was silent, everything became tense for the young man to take this all in. The fighting, suffering he went through when he was having fun in the clothing store because Coco dragged the two along. Then, the confession. It's hard to believe that he would downright get rejected on the spot, mostly because he had it kept in his heart and suddenly had the adrenaline to say it out loud. He hated it, it wasn't the time to reveal his feelings. Ace knows he messed up, and he admits that he wants this problem to be resolved. Either as strangers or friends. He's fine with what Velvet has in mind. It still puts a damper to his mind though. Damn, it's hard to talk again what that bitch did. She and that Beringel damaged a lot of shit around us. Including the innocent people behind us. Ace recalled in thought. I can tell that she's afraid of what I'm gonna possibly do since we never talked again. Ace nodded to himself. I want to show her that I'm okay, I can't blame her for something so stupid in the first place. That's not the gentleman way of handling this. He took a deep breath and firmly stared at the young rabbit faunus. Velvet, you have the right to be mad at me, nervous after everything I've done. I'm not going to try and do anything to convince you because I'm no better than that. So if you want to yell at me after what's happened, then go right ahead, I deserve it. He said, taking a mid-bow. Velvet looked away. The way you're speaking. It's hard not to forgive you. She said nervously before opening her eyes. You were bloody gone for almost a month, Ace. The young man scratched the back of his hair while looking down. Coco and I were so worried, no one could find you, not even your parents. Alright, Kuroto said that Coco found them and he was told on how I disappeared in the first place. Ace remembered in thought. That's complicated for humans and faunuses since we have a very weird family tree. Velvet punched one of Ace's shoulders softly. I was so stressed out. I thought I hurt you because of what I said. Then, you killed someone. She muttered. But thank Aum that you're alright. Velvet stared at Ace's two eyes. Killing someone takes a toll out of the one who did it. This has to be your first one, isn't it? She received a nod. I never witnessed that happening with my own two eyes. Ace gently held her hand, his expression full of regret. At the heat of the moment, I confessed to you when I shouldn't have. He said. We were fighting a serial killer who had a Beringel on her side. It's my fault that I resorted to anger and my adrenaline that kicked me to overdrive. I didn't want to hurt you, or Coco. Velvet gripped his hand. Ace, when she was disguised as me. Did you lash that hate out to her as if it was me? Or did you knew it wasn't me and did it anyway? Ace hissed. It's hard to remember. My mind felt so foggy when my anger overtook me. I couldn't even tell what was happening at the time too. The rabbit fauna sighed. She looked away for a second. Promise me. The young man raised a brow. Promise you what? Promise me that you won't abandon everyone here. That you won't kill unless you absolutely have to. Velvet said. Ace, surprised by her tone, he bit his lip slowly. Yeah, I promise you. I won't do something like that again. The young rabbit fauna smiled, causing Ace to flush. It's good to see you again, Ace. Hey, Velvet. Velvet turned around to notice Coco catching up with her. Oh, sorry, Coco. Sheesh, you went outside our room all of a sudden. It was hard catching up with you, Coco said after adjusting her bonnet. She stopped, however, once she spotted Ace. She lowered her sunglasses down. The young man can tell her eyes are narrowing hard. So, what do you have to say? Ace gulped. I'm sorry. He bowed again. I left you two for a week because of my behavior. I hope you and Velvet could forgive me, he said. Her glare intensified, making the two feel nervous. And I won't do it again, Ace said. Coco crossed her arms with a huff. You have a lot to explain about what your dad said. Not right now though. We have to meet up with Fox and Yatsu. With that, she strutted away, making Velvet and Ace sigh in relief. Come on, Velvet, Coco yelled. We're not going to wait for a few more minutes. Come on, Chop Chop. Where are you guys going anyway? Ace asked. We're taking a field trip later. Hopefully, it won't take too long. Velvet answered, giving Ace a hug. I gotta go, rather not want Coco to get angry. It was nice seeing you again, Ace. Ace nodded, watching the two huntresses leave. Heh, that actually helped my mood for today, he said, holding back a smirk. All's forgiven then. Help! I can't stop smiling. Like holy shit, my mood for today just ended up going right somehow. God, this really made my day. Ack! Anyway, classes are over when Velvet and Coco left. So nothing else happened today, which is expected since in the show they had time skips that wouldn't take long to reach for Volume 2 and 3. But for me, it's gonna take a long while getting into the canon episodes. I couldn't really spot Team RWBY since they were running fast whenever the bell would ring. Shit, they're so fast. Team JNPR? Ugh, John's probably being trained by Pyrrha because of me. Surprisingly, the blonde knight is actually improving much faster than what I expected. Probably due to our training match back in Glinda's class. Except for this time, there's no more pussy shit coming from that dude when I saw him practice against Pyrrha. And he's been getting better too. I noticed a few little slip-ups here and there, but my god. I think I might have made Arcos an actual ship now. You see, whenever John tried to get our red-haired Spartan warrior in certain attacks, he'd often say sorry about that, and it couldn't have been the perfect time for that fall cliché to start like in most animes. Funny too, since Pyrrha almost fainted. Hee hee. All's according to Kikaku. Huh, I keep forgetting that John's technically a self-insert in RWBY, yet I'm also a self-insert in Remnant for some god-awful reason. HM. It's weird, honestly. Maybe I should help him out as a real broem would do to make that Arcos happen ASAP. And you can't forget about their first date in that beacon dance coming up. That pairing will work, and my god, I won't let Pyrrha get cucked by a damned tsundere again. As soon as I was going to get back to my room, I noticed Blake inside her team's room, without her bow, tying the cat ears. Oh fuck. Oh fuck me. What happened now? I saw sweat almost falling down on my body. When a single tear dropped, Blake immediately found out where I was as her stare increased tenfolds after I saw her frown. Hee hee. Hi. I gulped. Be Blake. I was slowly pointing at her cat ears, albeit my hands are shaking. Why you're a faunus? Blake glared. Yes, I am. I could feel her golden orbs just judging me. Why didn't you tell us? The cat huntresses in front of me grimaced. You mean, why didn't you? Oh. Oh no. Shit. What do you mean by that, Blake? I asked. I never saw you without the black bow. Stop faking it, Ace, you knew that I'm a faunus. She said. You never told me, or anyone. Why? I noticed one of Blake's hand holding her black bow. Then I stared at her cat ears. I shook my head. I always saw you looking at my ears. I thought maybe you were just bored, but no. You kept staring at it, and when I looked back, you turned your head, again and again. The young cat faunus said. Fuck. I got caught, ma, and her instincts are damn good. I just couldn't get away, huh? Well shit, now she revealed her faunus traits to her team. That's probably how it happened after Kuroto and I saved Carden from the game disease. It's because of the talk inside the bullhead, ain't it? Fucking A. Alright, truth time. I sighed. Yeah, you got me. Blake's eyes opened wide. How long? For about a few days after the argument with Ruby and Weiss. It's actually easy to spot a faunus based on the traits they have in common. Like how a cat gets scared of a dog, they love seafood, red dots are their attractions, there's more I could go to, but that's about sums it up. I answered. But I'll be honest, putting on a bow doesn't help disguise you as a human, Blake. I raised a brow with a not-so-impressed face. Either people are that dumb, or they just don't care about what you are. Blake grit her teeth. Yes, they do. That's why I wanted to hide my traits. No one would understand how it feels being a FA-. No one gives a flying fuck if you're a faunus. She stopped after I yelled at her, her expression and everything dropped. Yep, I can tell she's gonna try to run away. But that ain't happening, because fuck the cannon. Taurus closed the door. Taurus came charging in from far away. Blake spotted him almost a second after he rolled behind us, using his hooves to close the door shut. Thanks for that, I said, stroking his chin. I started fixing my throat before I have to give Blake the talk about how she's handled as a character. Well, I'm not gonna berate her or anything. I'm just going to tell her the truth, and how she needs to stop running away every time. Blake, you're not running away from this. Neither will a pathetic excuse of your actions work on me. I said coldly when I saw my reflection, having my eyes turn crimson. We're setting this straight, no ifs and or buts. So sit your ass down on a bed right now. I waited until she complied doing so. Good, I said. So, let's get started. I took a deep breath, pinching the bridge of my nose. First off, I'm calling bullshit on your claims of humans being racist of your kind. I stopped her with one finger up. Don't you dare bring up Carden in this conversation. I'm going to correct you that he bullied Velvet and John. That's now how discrimination is if you see the bigger picture. That and his motives as well, but that's for another time. Blake tried to look for a way to dodge this conversation. Ace, you don't know everything I experienced. I groaned. I know I don't, but... Blake, I'm going to tell you that the majority of my times here in Remnant witnessing how the Faunuses are treated. I can safely assume that the Faunuses I've seen recently have not dealt with any racism at all. Yes, I know that there's a likely chance a random shop, store, whatever will have a sign that says no Faunus allowed, then that's a weak excuse to pin on. Now that leaves off to the group of Faunuses together that are apparently fighting the racism. The White Fang, I crossed my arms and cracked my neck a bit once I mentioned that name. Blake's eyes narrowed. And what about them? The White Fang? They're not misguided, I said nonchalantly. If they join the White Fang, knowing their actions are all terrorists attacked to expand more recruits, to gather their same species to fight back with violence. That's stupid, you're not supposed to fight human again. Do you really want another war to start just because of killing humans? No? Then I'm damn sure each of those members know what they're doing, Blake. Ace, that's enough. Blake yelled. You wouldn't have known who they actually are if you were in the group. I looked down, knowing what my next words are going to be. And how would you know that, Blake? I wouldn't know their perspective at first hand. Hell, I don't know why they continue to do so. I lowered my glare at her face. Could it be? The only way someone would know that is if they're a part of the group. Are you also a member of the White Fang, Blake? After I asked that question, I only got was silence out of her. Jackpot. Ace, please. Blake said. Oh. Why? Maybe I shouldn't have opened my mouth up? I watched Blake's eyes slowly tearing up. Blake, I didn't mean to dash. Don't tell anyone about this. She said. I wanted to get away from the responsibilities. I ran away from everything. I'm scared, Ace. I'm scared of being found. I never wish it'd be this way. I stood up, ready to exit the room so that she can go ahead and run just like what happened back in Kamen. I was a part of the White Fang. I stopped, turning to see her eyes narrowed. You're a part of that group? I asked out loud. Not so loud. Blake hissed. Yes, I am. But I left after something happened. I can remember very clearly that it was from that black trailer or Blake trailer. Either way, that's pretty sad to see her act like this in the first place. To think that she'd opened up this early before the Vital Festival would even start. That goes to show that once you have someone like me enter a new world and disrupt the fabric of space and time for a show. Everything now leads up to this. Hopefully, it won't get worse later on. Why do I feel like I just jinxed myself? Whatever. I already know that you want me to keep this a secret, I said looking into her eyes. So I will. However, you should be who you are as a Faunus. Why? She asked. Ain't it obvious? If you're a Faunus and you were in that group in the first place, you should help other Faunuses as well right here in Beacon Academy. At least it feels right to at least do something other than just standing with a black bow on and do nothing. I replied, but I growled instantly. And don't get me wrong, I still didn't like that time when you didn't help out Velvet when she was being bullied back in lunch. Blake looked away in shame. It's fine, just make sure to remember who you are. Always fight back against someone trying to shame you for who you really are. They're just trying to make you lose your courage. I said. Your will. I could barely see the softest smile I'll see on Blake's face, but it still feels rewarding anyway. In canon, she left once she yelled out that she was a part of the White Fang at Weiss. I prevented her from leaving her friends before she confessed about her affiliation. Oh shit. I finally changed RWBY's canon. Well, there goes Sun. Now I doubt we won't meet him sooner or later. Besides, he wants to get into Blake's booty, so it's a guaranteed encounter for everyone. I checked out RWBY's room and spotted the teardown on a carpet. Looks like you were either fighting back, or someone prevented you from moving. Blake didn't say anything, so I continued. I'm gonna let my gut tell me that you were caught off guard by something, then your black bow was pulled away. Revealing your cat ears, huh? I said. That girl's face filled with shock was all the answer I needed. Looks like I hit the bullseye. So, how did it go? I asked. It went a bit dark. She said. Let me guess, Weiss. I said casually. Should be obvious to predict what happened next when your cat traits were revealed to an heir to the She Company. Yeah, Blake muttered. However, I didn't tell any of them that I'm in the White Fang Dash. You mean used to be? I corrected, earning a confused look. Blake, there's a difference in I am and I was. Because right now, you're not in that group anymore. Right now, I'm looking at a cat faunus named Blake, that's who you are. Thanks, Ace. Blake said, looking at her black bow on her lap. I might still need time to tell them. It's fine, I shook it off. Take as long as you need to pull yourself together. I then started walking away. Before I closed the door, I glanced behind. Oh, and Blake? If you try and run away from this. I noticed my two eyes glowing as I revealed a dark smirk. Keep in mind that you're getting an earful of lectures from me. That and my Grims will also find you quicker than you'd expect. I saw a few trails of sweat coming from her face when she noticed my dark stare. Satisfied with how this went, I slowly closed RWBY's door and smiled. I actually helped out, for once. The nullification semblance. Yang gets back up and looked ready to burn. She punched her gauntlets together to activate her semblance. But nothing happened. Wait, what? She throws a few air punches with not a single fiery aura on her two hands. My semblance should be on by now. Yang, what's wrong? RWBY asked, helping her balance. The blonde bombshell looked at RWBY and eyes down. I can't use my semblance. What appears to be Miss Xiaolong's inability to use her power is correct. Something's preventing us from using our semblances. She points to Ace, who's currently battling Run. I think he might be the cause of it. His semblance. Yang mentally sighed. It turned ours off when we had to fight him 2 times now. It was a headache for her. Each time Ace's mind/emotional levels go through the roof. He somehow activates his semblance and disables her and the rest of the gang's semblance. Surprisingly, they were able to beat him in some way during those breakdowns only by miracles from Kuroto. And when he was able to wake up before RWBY was. She shook her head from that possibility, can't let it get to her head. It's hard to beat someone like him for the first time, she was frustrated. In order for Young to use her semblance, she usually gets angry during those times. The damages she endures, the more fighting power she receives. Could say it's more of how she burns. GUH. She punched a near wall, causing a small crater. Why do I feel so angry back in that forever fall forest? RWBY notices this and raises a brow. What's up, sis? Something wrong? It's just... The young female brawler took deep breaths to stay calm. It's Ace. What about him? Something wrong with you too? She asked. No, it's not that. Yang shook his head. I'm mad at his. Maybe she's mad at Ace's semblance? John chipped up with a nervous grin. It makes sense. Yeah, that's why, she groaned. How did we ever beat him when our own semblances got taken away? It's cause of Kuroto, right? John said. If it wasn't for him, then who knows what would have happened? John, I think you're making her angrier, RWBY said nervously. He saw that 2 of Yang's eyes turned crimson as her fiery aura was rising. Oh, sorry. Sis, wait. I got an idea. RWBY trying her best to not let Yang destroy something immediately. Why not just fight him? Yang shook her head. I dunno Rubes, even if I do. He's just going go easy on me. How about asking him to fight you with everything he got? With the favor he owes everyone. John suggested. He wouldn't say no to that. Yang smirked. Hey, that might work. Thanks, John. She thanked him by playfully punching his right shoulder. Alright, so, where is he? RWBY hummed. He should still be at his room with Kuroto and Poppy. Said that he doesn't have a big schedule like the rest of us. John grumbled. Solo huntsman. And with that, Yang disappeared from the two as they only saw a fiery smoke of her figure before it faded away. Although it somehow left a scorch stain on the chair she was sitting on. I hope she doesn't beat up Ace too much, John said with a gulp. RWBY waved that possibility away, eating a couple of chocolate chip cookies. Nah, he'll be fine, sis won't do that. John sighed in relief. Yeah, I guess you're right. Unless he messes with her hair. She said, causing John to sweat. Well, ain't today a big-ass reliever for me. Blake's going to be open about her faunest traits. I was able to make up with Velvet and Coco, which warmed my heart honestly. And now, there's not much going on today. Guess I could hit the hay for now, even though I don't really need sleep in the first place. Decided that, I finally got back to my room. I didn't see Kuroto nor Poppy inside, odd. Oh yeah, today must be where Kuroto finally gets his own customized doctor outfit. As for Poppy? Beats me honestly. I think she's trying to get their class decorated by her taste. Not sure if a video game themed classroom would get students to take that course seriously, or maybe fun either way. I'm calling it right now that Kuroto's making everyone call him God or Kami in the very first day of health. I gently stroked Taurus's chin and pet Arrow's head casually. It's just the four of us now, huh? I said to everyone, except I only saw these two with me. Arrow. What happened to the other Grims? I asked. Poppy, outside, help, experience. He answered. Poppy's helping you guys out by taking y'all outside, to experience different things. That's what you're getting at, right? He nodded. Why didn't you two go? No. You promised, so we stay, Arrow said. I'm going to make that promise a reality. It'll take time, sure, but it's happening. 'Cause goddamn Arrow actually talking makes me proud, since he's been my partner throughout this crazy journey of mine. Thanks, Arrow, Taurus. I smiled back. I'll do my best. Knock, knock. Doors open. I called out. The wooden door creaking, I saw Yang with a different look on her face. It seemed like she was in her competitive mood, as if she wants to fight someone right now. Oh, sup Yang? Hey. Ace. She said, revealing a smirk. You wouldn't happen to be busy today, right? I took out my scroll and checked my class schedule, then nodding to her. Being a solo huntsman has a few benefits. But yeah, I'm free all day. I answered. Oh good. Yang perked up. I'm starting to get uncomfortable from that face of hers. I think I might know what she wants. Yet I also don't want to know what it is. Why? Need something? I asked. Fight me. She said seriously by cracking her knuckles. Excuse me? I almost choked on my glass of water when I saw her eyes narrowed. You heard me. Yang's crimson eyes were showing the fiery mood of hers. I want to fight you. Okay, I get that, but why? I asked nervously. Is there something bothering you because of me? No. She shook her head. Well, yeah, it is. Look, I'm sorry if I did something bad around you that would make you get an uneasy feeling. However, violence isn't the answer. I said, trying to avoid an ass whooping, but I sighed. Alright, what's wrong? Ace, the young female brawler, took a deep breath. It's about your semblance. My semblance? I repeated. You mean that nullification effects it creates? Yes. She yelled. Remember when we tried fighting you when you turned into that gold dragon thing after beating Carden? And then that forever fall trip back when we were collecting those saps? I nodded, letting her continue. I felt so weak. I was looking forward to beating you with or without my semblance. Yet each time you activate yours, it stops me from going all out. I looked at the gauntlets on her 2 arms, then to those crimson eyes of hers. So you want to have a 1v1 against me, to see how much you could do on me? With or without your power? I said. Yes. I firmly nodded, looking at my own 2 hands. I understand. I saw her expectations rising. I'll fight you with my ult, we can talk about the rules when we get there. I'm all ears on what you want specifically. Never have I seen Yang's smug smile raised that touched my heart due to how cute she looks. Really? Well, wasn't that easy? Before we go, I have a question. She stopped. Yeah? You were going to use that favor I owe to everyone each, right? I gestured. Otherwise you wouldn't go this far to challenge me. Yan nodded. Tell you what, challenging you was the first idea I had after getting that free favor pass. She grinned. I chuckled. Well, let's go then. Are you sure about this? Professor Glinda Goodwitch asked, albeit with that stoic face on. If a certain situation gets worse, I shall put a stop to this one-on-one with you, Miss Xiaolong, and you as well, Mr. Valiant. She said sternly. I nodded. I'm sure, Professor Goodwitch, I've been feeling better both mentally and physically after weeks past. I can fight again, I said after doing a few stretches. Plus, I wanted to spar against someone who's damn good at beating people to a pulp. Really wanted to get my fighting style rusted off anyway. Yang smirked, getting onto her combat uniform on. Just know, Ace, you're getting a big makeover after this is over. You'll look so Goodwitch when I'm done sparring with you. I quietly held back a snort so she wouldn't overdose me with those puns of hers. Oh yeah, you haven't told me your rules for me, I said, taking out the gamer driver. It wouldn't be nice if I let you forget it. The young blonde brawler smiled. Thanks for reminding me, after I beat that smug look of yours. Her menacing face didn't help that. Alright. Rule number 1, you can't use your gamer driver. Shit, well ain't that a shocker. I actually didn't think you'd say that as the first rule, I said, raising a brow. Gotcha, no transform sequences then. I took my gamer driver back to where any writers put after a long fight, in space. Rule number 2, no weapon switching. She pointed out the gas hats I had that would give me different weapons depending on their category. You're fine with using one that switches their modes. I decided to take out the dangerous zombie and pulled the lever. It didn't activate the sounds used, no, I brought my palm inside, bringing out the Gashikan Sparrow. Taking a good look at these babies since the last time I used them, I smirked and aimed at the center. Alright, Gashikan Sparrow it is. It's useful for me to shoot far away in bow form, that, and I can also attack close range with the sickle mode. Rule number 3, give me all you got. And use that semblance of yours too. I don't think I actually know how to use that up semblance of mine. Actually, don't I have 2? Immortality super regeneration and semblance nullification. Oh. Now I see why they're overpowered as fuck. But here's the thing, I can't seem to use the nullified part of my semblance. The super regeneration, however, is automatic. I vaguely remembered that this power recovered my left arm and that huge hole on my chest. Man, did that hurt like a bitch. Before I could even tell her about that last part, she started dashing towards me, cocking her right arm back. Oh. I separated the bow form into the dual-handed sickles I used and clashed both of them towards her gauntlet. Why didn't you say go? I shouted. You'll be fine, she said. Great. I kicked her away from my personal space and took the sickles back into arrow mode, spraying dark arrows to the air. What are you aiming for? I'm right here, Yang said. I smirked. Exactly. The dark arrows that froze in the air followed her steps, then moved again almost near inches to her face. Shit. I can't let one of it cut a single string of her hair. I shot more arrows, but alas proved worthless due to her gauntlets. She was able to punch some. The others being able to damage her body. I noticed that it wasn't much thanks to the aura meter showing her side. Even if the dark arrows hit her, that didn't stop Yan from punching my face back. Which felt like I should have been knocked out with a broken neck and everything. Although I think it's thanks to the immortality part that helped me live that attack. Being sent off next to a wall, causing a crater, I saw a strand of hair falling between. Oh. You did this. She yelled, causing her familiar fiery aura rising. Fuck me. Once Yang put two of her gauntlets clapped together, a violent wind pushing me back. I saw her semblance activating on her anger. Alright, so, I'm getting my ass beat. Definitely dying today. I couldn't stand back up when she jumped midair and grabbed my throat, dragging me to the ground. Throwing me to the arena stage, her right arm gathered up flames as if she was causing an earthquake. I closed my eyes, embracing the soon-to-be painful right fist I've ever gotten. The winds flew at the students, then to Goodwitch, who was going to stop this battle. But she knew Ojpin was curious about his development, or he was sipping on his mug. You wowawug. My vision could barely make out what happened before I saw Yang started to repeat her punches on me. I was going to accept that I'm going to lose and take it. I can't fight a fucking hulk of a fighter without at least getting my own strength boosted. My body was shaking. Not in fear, it was like it rejected the idea of when I mentioned the losing part. I felt my subconscious using my left hand and grabbed her face. I can feel my power, my strength flowing through me. I grit my teeth as I threw her away like she was trash. The knockback, however, was big due to the amount of power I used that caused her to crash down hard. My face was recovering the cracks, the bruises I had were fading away slowly, and my damn two arms are functioning. Immortality. Super regeneration. Taking this chance as an opportunity, I took out the arrow form into sickle mode again and hacked in/yum all I could muster. She couldn't take it anymore and blocked my left and threw a quick right kick to my guts. Then headbutt my face as if it wasn't bad enough, she took hold of my collar. Use that semblance of yours. Yang growled. Or am I not just good enough for you? I spat out data from my right, grunting. I would if I knew how to. You mean you actually don't know how to use it? She yelled. I don't. It triggers on its own. I shouted back. Give me a break. Yang rolled her eyes in boredom as she let go of my collar, walking away as this fight was over in the beginning. Guess this fight's over, huh? I bit my lip, trying to see if I can activate it. No, it isn't. Come on me, bring it out. What the fuck do I do in order to activate it? I saw her walking away, hanging her head in shame. She's disappointed. I couldn't help the favor I owe. My semblance couldn't work for shit. Damn it, I'm sick and fucking tired of all this bullshit my emotions have done to me. Then I saw it. That faint glow. Inside of Yang, Professor Goodwitch, everyone, I can sense each of their auras around my surrounding. It felt like I was on a center of a circle, not showing me as a target, but a field that I can control. Could it be? Is this nullification? Their semblances? I yelled in pain, causing Yang to turn her head worriedly. Ace. My power, this op shit, nullification. You want your semblance nullified? You wanted me to give you everything I've got, right? I repeated the last rule with a grin. Well, you got it. I focused on this discovery by wishing that the glow would disappear temporarily, and it did. Her fiery semblance vanished in my senses. Hopefully, it isn't permanent. Surprisingly, my eyes weren't crimson when I get angry. No, they're gray. Just like the Pmaxo gas hat I always use. Picking up Gashicon's Pharaoh sickle modes up, I smirked. Try and activate it now, Yang. She didn't know what happened, but her aura didn't blaze through like before. Yang realized it now. That her semblance was nullified thanks to the discovery of my own. It's over, I said. Speed picked up on my feet as I appeared in front of her, swinging away as I grabbed one of her shoulders and threw her toward the ground. That's for dragging me like a damn toy, I said. I decided to end this battle when she was staggering from her balance. Let's finish this with a Yang. Ace, not you too. RWBY groaned from the audience as they all did too. Yang snorted. Heh, that was a good one. Thanks, I said with a short bow. I learned it from the best. I quickly ended the fight with a single knockout punch on her face. I was physically exhausted from this battle, and damn it took me a lot out of me. Guess that means I just gotta practice more on my stamina, barely beat Yang on her own level. My knees on the ground, I got back up and smirked as I saw the aura meter beep. And that's done. W winner. Ace Valiant. Glinda declared. Noticing the looks on everyone besides RWBY and JNPR, all their jaws were down. Not because I beat Yang, well that too, but the arena was messed up. I can see Glinda fuming. I saw Ashbin trying to refrain from reusing the whip. Chuckling to myself, I felt a sting on my body. My legs hurt, yup, my butt hurts, head, everything. I stood there with a smug look as I felt my body's exhaustion building up to the point that I didn't know I'm falling down. And I'm gonna go night-night, I said before my vision blurred out. Yang! RWBY yelled, seeing her big sis on the ground not moving. Are you okay? Obviously she's not. Weiss said. Ace wasn't lying when he was going to end it like that. He put her to sleep. She should be alright later. Blake chipped in. Her aura hasn't been shattered yet. Ace didn't want to break it since it can heal her injuries much faster. He did? RWBY asked. Indeed, Professor Goodwitch said. Had he not finished in one of those finishing touches he's done, then Miss Xiaolong would have to be treated immediately. But those wounds aren't so critical, it won't take a while for her recovery. And Ace? How was he? John asked nervously. He'll be alright from here, those wounds recovered by themselves somehow. Alms know what exactly his semblance is. Professor Goodwitch sighed. I must point out his flaws surely, but during those times he's been absent it's understandable. Surprisingly he has been adapting to using both modes from that weapon of his better. His reactions were albeit slow due to Yang being a close combat fighter, however, he's done a bit more than what I expected. She said. The last problem, however, is his reluctance to his own semblance. He never actively used it before during those troubled times based on the output of troubling moments. It's very likely that he'll need to take time to hone in on that power of his. Glinda said sternly. What? John said. She means that Ace needs to focus on himself deep down, Pyrrha answered. He never knew much about himself, and that's why we're here for him. She said looking at John. Like he did with us. The young blonde knight nodded. Right. Now if you'll excuse me, I must escort Mississippi Xiaolong and Mr. Valiant to the nurse's office. Professor Goodwitch said using her telekinesis to carry the two students. It was about to be nighttime as the sun was now setting. Students were going back to their dorms. Team JNPR and RWBY decided to wait until they're completely healed before they could visit them. The nurse's room revealed Ace and Yang falling asleep on their own separate beds with the curtains hiding each other. With Yang and Ace's snoring it was very annoying to hear, but finally, the former woke up. MHHMM. the young brawler opened her eyes to see the open window's breeze. Where am I? She turned her head, noticing someone was to her left who's asleep as well. Ace? Is that you? The young rider groaned, waking up as well when he noticed Yang with a few patches on her. Seems like her injuries weren't anything serious. He's glad things didn't escalate as he thought it would. Yang! You okay? He asked worriedly. PFT, you bet I am. She answered, waving off his concerns. What about you? Still a bit tired after activating my semblance for the first time. He replied with a yawn. Shit made me exhausted. Ha, I can't believe you were able to do it though. Yang said with a sad smirk. In the last minute too. Ace scratched his hair nervously. Sorry, I just didn't know what to do. The young blonde shook her head. No, it's my fault for letting myself get ahead. I just wanted to see if I can take you on so that I can forget what happened. I don't like losing much as I want to. The young man nodded. I know that feel. It must have felt frustrating to keep losing your semblance against me when I was getting healed from all your beatdowns. He said, showing a frown. But I don't think you should be relying on your own semblance to stop me though. Yang raised her head. What do you mean? What I'm saying is, you were able to beat me albeit early start of a fight without your semblance. Those punches I took could have been a bruise, and only by one single powerful hook was needed to knock me out temporarily. Ace said honestly. You're not useless, you're not weak, but you will lose on some occasions. She clenched her sheets tightly. So what should I do? You improve yourself. He said warmly. Don't focus on the strengths, make your weaknesses a priority to overcome instead. When you do, you'll be a damn powerhouse no one wants to reckon with. Yang could nod her head as she laughed. Well, if I need to get better on myself. So do you, Ace? Ace raised a brow. Shoot, I'm down to hear what others say on what I need to improve. She hummed, flickering her hair. I guess it depends on how much you learned from fighting. Ha! Come on! You had to be taught by someone on how to use that bow/sickle weapon RWBY would love to see. Mind explaining it? Ace asked with interest. Basically? You were able to fight with a fighting style once we started. Yang said. I did? Did I perhaps do a few moves on you? Besides dragging me down like I did, yeah. You were fast, had pretty good reflexing skills with the sickle mode on. And the arrow mode? Ace raised a brow. You were good at being aware and cautious of things, and you usually aim the bow like a gun too. You had this cold look like the Ice Queen has. She snickered. Ace? The young rider shook his head. It's nothing, but I think I can see why you mean that hat. He shrugged. I guess I did learn some few things to fight. Yang wanted to ask him what's wrong, but she decided it's best not to since they're recovering after that fight. Oh yeah, about your semblance? Ace turned his head to Yang, waiting for her question. How did it feel? The young man crossed his arms, his head in thought. Honestly? It felt pretty sudden. Like I just instantly sensed your aura and the others around me. Sort of like a beacon that found you, I guess. Then, I wished your semblance was temporarily turned off until I beat ya. He answered. It's gonna take a while to master, but I might be a scary opponent in the future to deal with. Well yeah. You have a crazy semblance, so of course it's gonna be strong later. She said, waving her arms in excitement. Ace could only laugh nervously. That's all you got? Old master advice, Yang? I do, my young apprentice, Yang said with a short bow. But I don't think you'll like it. The young man titled his head. Why's that? It's about your weapons. She pointed out. I know that you can use it outside without that armor of yours, but I feel like the weapons are holding you back. I see where you're getting at, Ace said with a sigh. And you're right, the Gashikon sparrows could barely get you in sickle mode. Arrow mode barely got a scratch on you. It also didn't give me a good feeling using it in this form. It's like I'm naked without the armor. He looked at Yan with a smile. You know anyone that could help me build a new weapon? Yang stopped and whistled. She could answer him truthfully and let her young sis help him, but she's not sure of their close relations. But he needs a weapon that would help him get much farther than the ones he uses. The young brawler sighed. Well, actually, RWBY can help you with that. Ace tilted his head. She can? Yan nodded. Yeah, every student during their first year get to build their own weapons. So I'm sure RWBY can get you started with yours. The young writer smiled. Really? Thanks, Yang. She raised a thumbs up. Don't thank me yet, do it after you're done building your own weapon. Building a weapon, huh? Ace hummed. Never thought about it honestly, it's worth a try though. I'll ask RWBY for help with things I should take notes, she's an expert on setting up designs like that, yeah? Machem, Yang said. I'm warning you right now, Ace, if you do something to my sis all by your lonesome. She cracked her knuckles, the young man knew what she meant. Yang, I'm not doing anything that's going on with your mind. He said honestly. I see her as a friend, I'm not interested in anyone lately after what's happened. The young female blonde smacked her head realizing her mistake. Oh, sorry that I brought it up. Ace shook his head. It's fine. It's better that way if she didn't accept it. He raised his head with a firm nod. I can't find my special someone yet, it's too soon. I'm just going to let fate do whatever it wants. It wouldn't be right if I hated someone for not returning my feelings. The young writer said, revealing a soft smile. Yang then yawned as she was getting tired. Ugh, too sleepy. The young man smirked. Same, wanna go back to sleep and see who wakes up first tomorrow morning? Winner gets. She snored before her answer was brought up. Food served, from the loser. Ace only chuckled quietly, seeing Yang's cute sleepy face made him smile. I keep forgetting why I'm here in the first place. To help everyone. He muttered. The young writer quietly grinned and closed his eyes. Good night, Yang. To be continued.